Cancelled and counting. Now 6 charities cut all ties with Sarah, Duchess of York. She has been dropped following publication of a private email to the paedophile Jeffrey Epstein, who'd lent her money, calling him her supreme friend, just weeks after she had publicly disowned him.
I think this is the final, shall we say, nail in her coffin in terms of her career exploiting a position in the royal family and her career as a patron of various children's charities.
Well, the Duchess has been beset by scandal for decades, but this could be the most damaging yet, concerning as it does her links to a now notorious criminal convicted of trafficking and sexually abusing teenage girls. So where then does this leave the already disgraced Duchess and her ex-husband, Prince Andrew? Also tonight, the Chancellor's accusation in an exclusive interview with ITV News. Rachel Reeves blames Russia for a spate of cyber attacks on some British businesses. A second runway for Gatwick. The government hopes airport expansion will help the economy. But what of the green agenda? France is expected to join the list of countries formally recognising Palestine as other EU members pledge to follow suit. And
tonight, 7:15, September 22nd, 1955. Ready the vision mixers, sound mixers, cameramen, directors.
70 years young, a big broadcasting birthday for ITV.
This is the ITV Evening News with Mary Nightingale.
Good evening. 6 charities have tonight severed all ties with Sarah, Duchess of York, over her friendship with the convicted paedophile Jeffrey Epstein. A message from the Duchess to Epstein has emerged in which she called him a supreme friend to her and her family. Following the report, the Children's Hospice, Julia's House, where the Duchess was a patron, dropped her, followed by a string of others, including the Teenage Cancer Trust and the British Heart Foundation. Well, there is plenty more to come on the ITV Evening News, including the controversial Reform UK immigration policy and the numbers that don't quite add up. And happy birthday to us. A look back at our history as ITV turns 70.
Well, I think ITV is such a part of the cultural fabric of this country, and I think it was good for the British viewer to have choice.
I'll be back with that and more after the break. See you then. Hello again, welcome back. Nigel Farage has unveiled plans to scrap indefinite leave to remain, which is the main route for legal migrants to gain British citizenship. He said if Reform UK were to gain power, it would force non-citizens to apply for 5-year visas with high salary thresholds and no access to NHS services. Let's have a look at some other stories for you now. And 2 men who murdered e-bike riders they mistook for burglars have been jailed for life. Axel Rose and Charles Pardo used a pickup truck to ram into William Burchard and Darren George during a 60-mile-an-hour chase the wrong way down a motorway slip road in Surrey last year. The former England rugby player Tom Voice was nearly 3 times over the drink-drive limit when he drowned crossing a flooded ford in Northumberland last December. An inquest has heard. Mr Voice was driving his 4x4 during Storm Dara when the accident happened. And a Colombian gang member has been jailed for 13 years after helping to smuggle £42 million worth of cocaine onto a US beach using an inflatable boat. Didier Reyes was caught unloading the drugs in East Yorkshire before officials found 524 kilograms of cocaine in a van outside his hotel. Now, the detective who led the investigation into the Southport attacks has spoken about the bravery of officers who were the first to arrive on the scene. Speaking to the inquiry into what happened, DCI Jason Pye also said the killer had saved the address of the dance party venue on his phone. Our North of England reporter Amy Welch is in Liverpool, where the inquiry is being held. Amy, explain what evidence was heard today. Amy Welch in Liverpool, thank you. You are watching the ITV Evening News. It's pretty much exactly 7 o'clock, and here's what's still ahead. Sir Ed Davey takes on reform as he squares up to fight Farage.
I think Donald Trump threatens American democracy, and I think Nigel Farage will threaten British democracy.
The latest Spider-Man blockbuster is forced to stop filming as its lead actor suffers a fall.
He says, I make musicals and I want to make a musical about your life. And I just thought, wow.
From Burnley to Hollywood, and now the stage, Bank of Dave, the musical.
And after an extremely wet weekend for some, high pressure gives us drier weather for the next few days. I'll have all the details and the full national forecast a little later in the programme.
But before all that, 70 years ago tonight, ITV was preparing to come on air for its historic inaugural broadcast. At 7:15 p.m, Associated Rediffusion and ATV aired a 5-minute introductory film, followed by live variety entertainment from the city's Guildhall. An hour after the start of transmission came Britain's first TV advert for Gibbs SR toothpaste. Later, ITN, producer of ITV News, came to air for the first time too. The nation now had a second TV channel, and the BBC had a competitor at last. Commercial television had begun, and broadcasting was never the same again. Our correspondent Rachel Townsend looks back at 7 decades of drama, entertainment, news and sport. Let's get an update on what's making the news tonight. At least 6 charities have dropped Sarah, Duchess of York, as their patron after it emerged that she sent an email apologising to Jeffrey Epstein for publicly disowning him. It comes after a message from the Duchess to the convicted paedophile emerged in which she called him a supreme friend. And the Chancellor Rachel Reeves has told ITV News that hostile states such as Russia are behind some of the damaging cyber attacks on the UK in recent months. British companies, including Marks and Spencer, the Co-op and Jaguar Land Rover, lost millions of pounds after being targeted. Now, the Lib Dem leader, Sir Ed Davey, has told ITV News that Nigel Farage's plans to threaten legal migrants with deportation are outrageous. As we reported earlier, Reform UK is proposing scrapping indefinite leave to remain should it win power. Speaking at his party's annual conference in Bournemouth, Davey also said that Tesla owner Elon Musk was close to the line over his controversial comments to a rally organised by the far right in central London. He spoke to our political editor, Robert Peston. Coming up before Emmerdale.
So we're gonna keep on keeping on.
Bank of Dave, the real-life story turned Netflix film phenomenon, now hitting the stage. And Becky will be here with the weather after this short break. Hope to see you then. Hello, welcome back. Time for the weather now. Becky is here. And there was some record-breaking rain over the weekend, wasn't there?
I feel like we very rarely talk about rain these days, but you're absolutely right. There was an awful lot of rain, as expected. And we have actually got the satellite and radar picture from the weekend. And you can see that rain. If we run the sequence, it swept across those northwestern parts, particularly wet across Wales and the northwest and then into North Yorkshire as well.
Heinz Beans sponsors ITV National Weather.
The last thing on my weather shopping list for tonight is the fact that it is the autumn equinox as well. And that means from tomorrow, I'm afraid, the nights are going to start being longer than the day. I know you don't like it, but you know, I think it's cosy. It's not so bad.
Yeah, you'd be sick of it soon enough.
I know.
And finally tonight, the inspiring story of how Dave Fishwick set up a community bank in Burnley to help local people and businesses is now being turned into a musical. His David versus Goliath struggle, that probably should be Dave versus Goliath, shouldn't it, has already been a hit as a book, a documentary and a movie. And now it's being set to song and will have its premiere in Salford. And that's all for now. Tom's here with the latest at 10, but from me and the Evening News team, bye-bye.